Hi, this is Gary. I just want to make a quick apology for the technical issues we had today recording the episode. Had some microphone feedback coming through, and I really hope it doesn't spoil your enjoyment of the episode. Thank you. Take care.
Welcome to the podcast, the Post Boys podcast. Join Gary and Ian talking movies.
The Postman, Ian.
Yes.
From Christmas Day 1997.
Yeah, he always delivers.
Yeah. So this movie is one of the. I mean, you could go on about Ishtar, Cutthroat Island.
Yes. Well,
Waterworld kind of made some money.
it made some money.
But this was a bigger flop, wasn't it?
It was a bigger flop. It was based on a book by David Brin, and he wrote. It was a 3-part novella, although it was 2 parts, and he wrote The Postman that came out in the Isaac Asimov's science fiction magazine in 1982. And then he wrote a second part called Cyclops, which appeared in, say, was it 1984? And then the book was published in 1985. And it was, it won a couple of awards. But it was, the screenwriter was Eric Roth, who wrote Suspect, and he wrote...
Suspect with Cher.
Suspect with Cher, and also...
Liam Neeson.
Yeah, Liam Neeson. He wrote Forrest Gump, Ali,
okay.
and he was interviewed recently because he's just adapted High Noon for the stage in the West End, and an interviewer asked him about, and of course you wrote the script for Postman, and he said, well, he wrote it originally for Tom Hanks. And he wrote it, and he gave it a kind of sardonic quality, a bit like Gulliver's Travels. And if you've seen, if you want a true version of Gulliver's Travels, there's the TV movie, but with Ted Danson, which kind of films the whole book. You know, that's when Channel 4, remember in the May Day bank holidays, they used to put in dramas like The Odyssey or Alice in Wonderland, and so it was going to be cynical, and it was going to be kind of sardonic and have a bit of comedy. But what he said was Kevin Costner, he bought it and commissioned a rewrite, and then he made it a bit more earnest and serious. So, and I suppose maybe the Eric Roth version is there's the bits of comedy, not so much comedy when he's watching the television and there's no television and he's making up the programs, and he's the acting side, or perhaps when he visits. I suppose the Gulliver's Travels aspect would be when he's just travelling around and meeting individuals. So I don't know, it would have been interesting to see his Eric Roth's version of it. But I think it was it Brian Hegland? He must have done.
Yeah, he did a lot of kind of stuff in probably like the late 90s, early 2000s. His name spot quite a lot. So
I think he must have done the rewrites, and as it said, it got 5 Razzie Awards, and one of them, this Eric Roth in an interview said he knew it got worst screenplay, and it's like, the film itself. I mean the poster has the American flag, and then underneath it has Kevin Costner walking along this arid desert.
That's the beginning's quite bombastic. It kind of looks like a dystopian. It's going to be like a dystopian adventure, but then it kind of settles into be more of a like rural countryside western.
Well, that's the thing, because if you look at it, you think, well, I actually want more of the,
with the lion or tiger, was it? Or something like that?
The lion. Once again, talk about foreshadowing in a screenplay out of nowhere. With a kind of CGI kind of background, you see this lion across the desert, but and then that lion's going to appear later on. But yeah, you look at that and you think, well, can we not just have it just be the desert, a bit like Mad Max. But having said Mad Max, that reminds me that David Brin, who wrote the book, and he said he wrote The Postman as a rebuke to the celebratory mayhem in many of the Mad Max movies. So he saw the Mad Max and Apocalypse, and people were kind of rejoicing in the violence, and he thought, well, no, wait a minute, I want to write something that has a bit of hope and a bit of, that the future will get better, or maybe in his idea, get back to normality, by the reintroduction or the reinstatement of the state, if you know what I mean. The government, I should say. Yeah. The restored United States of America.
Breaks down.
The government breaks down, and I think maybe human beings, rather than just live off a totally Mad Max, it's like, well, wait a minute, wouldn't people want to maybe reinstate a government or reinstate a service, like a postal service? I
mean, Mad Max doesn't really go into the total backstory about what happened. It's kind of a bit sketchy because the first Mad Max is probably pre-apocalypse. It's probably society's on the verge of breaking down. But then the second one is post-apocalypse sort of thing.
Yes, yeah. Well, obviously there's the...
But it doesn't really explain exactly what's happened. It just became the rule, did it? Yeah,
well, that's that. And it's interesting that The Postman comes out in 1997, and you can see it's caught between two stools. It's on one hand Mad Max, but then on the other hand you can see the germs of what would later become, say, like The Walking Dead or The Last of Us, or almost like, the HBO shows, because he's going through the desert and he knows there's groups of people in, say, Oregon. So you have to walk through the desert and the blasted areas to get to, the people living in the rural, I don't know, is it Pacific Northwest or Pacific West or wherever, that idea. But as I say, so it's Kevin Costner, he's an unnamed actor travelling around reciting Shakespeare in order for food and shelter. And obviously he's got no name, and he becomes known as Shakespeare, but then he becomes the Postman, although in the book his name's Gordon Krantz. That's his actual name.
Yeah, I didn't know that, and I was trying to recollect, and I don't think I ever heard what his actual name is.
No. In the film, he hasn't got a name.
Then would that not be like a little kind of wink to Sergio Leone's The Man with No Name? Kind of wanders in.
He wanders. Well, exactly.
And helps the town and.
Well, that's the thing, because if you look at you watch the film and you say, well, there's little bits of The Magnificent Seven. There's a little bits of The Count of Monte Cristo. There's little bits of everything all mixed together in the film, and because it's post-apocalyptic, so one of the most interesting things is, getting what kind of post-apocalyptic world do you want? Do you want it like blasted, ruins, or do you want it huge, big, gleaming skyscrapers? And the same thing with the costumes, because you want to be, you don't want everybody to look as if they've bought their rags. That's the look, and that's maybe something that the film kind of falls down as well. It's like trying to come up with a distinctive apocalyptic look that isn't copying everything else, but it doesn't look as if everybody's wearing the same kind of handmade clothes. You want, and I think that's maybe where it didn't have a really distinctive look about it, because on one way you look at it and you think, well, that could be in the 1860s. It could actually be. You don't need apocalyptic stuff. It could just be during the Civil War, really. Because
it could just be Dances with Wolves. I mean, it's no technology, there's horses.
Yeah,
and we don't ever get to see the destruction in the cities. It's all rural.
It's all rural, and as you say, areas. Everybody's on horseback. It could almost be like the gang and kind of outlaws, Jory Wales. They're all looking for marauders, the Long Riders or stuff like that. They're all they're looking for tributes. As you say that.
But the Kevin Costner character is quite happy. Just he seems to like his own company.
Yeah, he likes his own company. That's the thing.
He's got that horse on mule.
He got the mule, and then he tests the water, and that's the thing. I wonder if maybe that's from the original script. It would be more like, if you imagine Tom Hanks in that movie.
I could see Tom Hanks playing that kind of role.
And
Yeah.
you could almost take out the serious bits and almost be Tom Hanks talking to the mule, finds the postal uniform, gets mistaken, goes into the village and says, people are looking for him to be their father, or, father a child. And you can almost, see, yeah, I can see that. And how much of the violence in the General Bethlehem is from the rewrite. I'm interested.
Probably Brian Helgeland.
Perhaps, because,
Yeah, I could picture Tom Hanks in that role.
Yeah.
But I can't picture Tom Hanks doing the fight scenes and all this. So.
Yes, well, that's the thing, because Eric Roth didn't state, how long the script was, or how many battle scenes or stuff like that. Because I think in the original novella, it's not till the third part that they come across a kind of marauding band of, desperados.
Yeah, so this band, a marauding army of racist bastards, they're called the Holnists.
The Holnists, named after, is it Nathan Holn?
Okay.
Not the host of Blockbusters.
We kind of get snippets of the backstory, but we don't get like a full picture. They don't really explain it.
No, well,
in great detail, did they?
Well, the film's supposed to take place in, was it 2013, and it ends at kind of 2043. And this Holness, I don't know whether or not it's not quite like Zardos, where they've taken a book of fiction and tried, so that they've taken some sort of religious text, and there's the 8 rules of wholeness, which is, it's almost like Fight Club. It's like you've got... the
rules of 8, where they get the tattoo.
The rules of 8, where...
8 tattooed on you.
Was it not forgiveness is for the weak. It's all the things where, basically you have to fight, you have to... you can challenge, but the punishment is by death. Yeah, and they get branded with the 8 on their arm. So
the Kevin Costner character, I mean, I'm not going to go into an outline because I'll be all over the place.
Yes,
but he does get captured by the Holnists and recruited involuntarily.
Yes, yeah. So he goes into town and he puts on a show for the people. And
now his acting, I don't know if that was deliberately bad, but the horse played a better role than he did.
Well, I think he had probably maybe. I think just because he played Robin Hood, I think he gave himself that you could play Shakespeare and stuff like that, or he spent some time in England.
But it's just the usual Shakespeare dialogue that everybody knows, even though they've never read a Shakespeare play.
Yes,
through pop culture.
Yeah. So he goes into the town and he performs a bit of Shakespeare in order to get something to eat, and then the marauders that General Bethlehem come along. And he's saying, basically they're like Magnificent Seven, and rather it's the grain. It's like, well, where's my tributes? Where's my meat? And he says, well, you've got time to put on a performance. Where's it? So Kevin Costner tries to sneak out of town, and some of the villagers' children kind of wave at him, and he's captured and recruited into this army. Yeah,
a bit of a bad move. He could have just kept his head down a bit longer, and then they wouldn't have known he was there, and then they would have just fucked off, and then he would have been okay. But he tries to make a getaway, backdoor getaway. He gets spotted by one of the children who and then Bethlehem kind of clocks that he's looking at something, and then he looks over, and then he sees it's almost like in Rosemary's Baby with a tiptoeing in the background. So I know he's like kind of tiptoeing away, and then he gets captured. Capture that man, and then he gets recruited into the Holness army.
Yes, and there's General Bethlehem's played by Will. Is it Will Payton or Patton?
I just call him Will Patton.
Will Patton,
but he plays. I mean, he does play the bad guy role well. So.
Well, I always thought that Will Patton, he was like a cross between Robert Duvall and kind of J.K. Simmons. He was always. Okay. I don't think I've ever. Maybe apart from Armageddon, I don't think I've ever seen him play a good guy. He's always, one of those faces. I think he's always, and unfortunately, at least J.K. Simmons had whiplash that propelled him into like a bigger league. That Will Payton, he's done solid work, but I don't think anybody's ever cast him in.
Yeah, I think this is quite a more meaty, fruity role for him rather than playing just a supporting character. He's basically the other than Costner. He's one of the main. He's the main villain. He's like Alan Rickman of Prince of Thieves. He's the General Bethlehem of the Postman.
Well, that's the thing, and nowadays, whether anybody remembers the famous line, I think it's from the trailer, "You want a war?" Was it? You want a war? I'll give you a war. What was it the later on in the movie they're dealing out flyers, and he kind of looks a bit pissed off. You spelt Bethlehem wrong. See, you spelt tyranny wrong. Tyranny, is it tyranny? He spelt something wrong, and then he's just like pissed off. He tries to play at being some educated leader. Well, he was a copier book salesman, or something. Yeah, I don't know if he worked in like a Radio Shack or stuff like that. He was just a little, probably lower tier, bottom management kind of character in the real civilized world before this world went to shit. Exactly, that's one of the reasons why he's looking for, not just looking for muscle, he's looking for intelligent people, whether that's to speak to, because when he's called, when that compound, and it's a great location, that kind of quarry, it's like something from Spartacus. I
never heard of a Mad Max movie. All the Italian movies, there's always a quarry just outside of Rome where they could do the cheesy Mad Max knockoffs.
Yeah, so he's there painting and and gets the Shakespeare, the Postman, Kevin Costner character in and chats to say, I'm looking for, intelligent people as well. You could do well. If
you can recite to be or not to be, that is the question. You must be intelligent. Well,
that's the thing. But that location is great, and there's some of the image where they've got the cinema out on the lake.
What was the movie they were watching?
Well,
was it The Sound of Music or something?
There was something, because they showed like a violent movie, and
and they went and then they put on some crappy. Well, they put on like The Sound of Music or something, and then they were
because that's exactly what they after being killing or just being violent, they don't want to watch a violent movie. They want to watch something, and that image of it, the shack projected onto the wall of the quarry, that's really.
I mean, the cinematography, the film looks fantastic.
Yeah.
Well shot.
Yeah, it is that.
So Kevin Costner gets... Now, it was quite people get tortured, and there's a little cameo from Giovanni Ribisi as a weirdo
once again,
character, is he?
Typecast. Some people say that, if you're an actor, you wish to be typecast, because if you're typecast, then you're always working. You're like a Robert Morley, or there was an Irish actor with a white beard from those 50s and 60s.
Michael Ironside is a bad guy.
Or Michael Ironside. And Giovanni Ribisi. Yeah, he's always playing. I don't think I've ever seen him play a hero. He's always playing the sneak, and, nice work if he can get it. But yeah.
Yeah, this was quite early on in his career. And I think he was in... Well, he was in
Private
Ryan. That's right. He was in
Private Ryan. He was in Ted. He was he was just. I think that's that thing where you get slightly pigeonholed, and it's like it's too late now to diversify into, because people won't. Even like the millennium now, people. Maybe it's better now, but back in the 90s, once you were that pigeonholed, it's like, okay, you'll work, but you're not going to be the romantic lead. You're going to be the weasel.
Obviously, he went on to do that Avatar movies as the head kind of corporate honcho.
Yes,
on Pandora, kind of like the Burt character from Aliens. Of just a smarmy corporate bastard, was he?
Yeah,
but he did the narration for the Virgin Suicides.
Yes,
was it Jeffrey Eugenides?
Yes, yeah.
Or pronounce his name?
Yeah.
But that complimented the film quite well.
Well, that's the thing.
This narration.
Yeah, and
quite poignant.
He played. Was it Bandit 20? Because there's some of the names that you've
another
got.
no-name character.
And other characters are called like Ford Lincoln Mercury, and obviously the Bridge City Mayor. And also, I always wonder whether that was part of the script. President Richard Starkey. Now, if you know I'm wondering whether or not that was intentional, or because we have Tom Petty in the film, whether that's really Ringo Starr is the president of the United States. I don't know. You know, or if
Nah.
was that part of the Eric Roth having a bit of
Well, in terms of the character, Kevin Costner's just winging it, basically. And
Yeah.
he probably just pulled that name out of his ass at the time, so I know.
yeah.
Or President Richard Starkey, knowing that people wouldn't know who the fuck Richard Starkey was.
Well, that's the thing about the the tone, because the tone it's shifting between, as you say, being very
From
serious,
very
earnest,
serious to complete cheese.
complete cheese. Which if it was going to be like a Tom Hanks film, you can see, I can see the Tom Hanks, or a bit like Goodnight Sweetheart, just making up all these names to get by. But then later on, there's violence, and a lot of people are killed.
People are like Nazi Germany. It's like some sort of ethnic cleansing, because the Holnists are quite racist. They go down the line. They say acceptable, not acceptable.
Yes, because they go around and they're basically looking for what you class as Aryan, or you're looking for anybody who isn't white or white European. No, they're not going to have in the army.
This was back in the 90s when practically everybody was under the same assumption that Nazis were bad. But today, it's kind of different story nowadays. Yes. So basically, he managed to escape.
He managed to escape because that line that we see in the titles with the kind of bad kind of blue screen, there's talk of there's a line in the surrounding area, and they want to go over to the next area, so they send a lot of people looking for volunteers, and they're not going to volunteer. Looking
for volunteers, like, no, you're going.
Yeah, so that's fine. There was a line in the area, and they want to retrieve some of the injured men. So Kevin Costner picks one of the injured men back, but then sees his chance to escape, and he falls through a bridge and into the water. But rather than just let him go, General Bethlehem sends men to say, "No, get him." And then he ends up. Does he end up killing two men? The Giovanni Barisi.
Did he kind of ratted somebody and then he gets shot, and then he had this like surprise look. Well, I just helped you and you shot me. What the fuck did I do wrong? Because he's a fucking gullible bastard.
So Kevin Costner manages to escape, and then he finds shelter in an old van, and it turns out to be an old postal van, and he finds an old American postal uniform and finds some letters. He starts reading some of the letters. Well, originally he's going to burn them, and starts reading them. And there's people talking about this fabled new city, is it St. Rose or wherever it is? And then it just so happens that he puts on, I think, obviously his horse is taken, so he starts walking on foot, and he puts whether it's to change his clothes, does he have a shave? And he puts on he puts on the postal uniform and starts walking about. But he takes the bag as well. Mm-hmm. And then he comes across, what's that? Pineview. Pineview. And that he wants, so that a bit like, was it The Walking Dead? They've got this, in the roads blocked off with these huge big wooden gates. And the residents are saying, no, we're not going to let you in. But then all of a sudden, they think, well, wait a minute, are you the mailman, the postman? And then he starts scrabbling through letters, because obviously he wants in, because I don't know whether they're going to shoot him or not. And he manages to find a letter for somebody in Pineview.
Just happens to be alive still.
Who just happens to be alive still. And I think, is that actress, that's...
Is she like old or blind or something?
She's older, and that's a fact. It is... The character's Ellen March, but the actress is Peggy Linton. And she was a big... TV. She was in the Mod Squad and lots of other films. In actual fact, she was married to Quincy Jones. So she's actually, is it Rashida Jones's mum?
Rashida Jones.
Yeah, so she was married to Quincy Jones from 74 to about 1990, but she gave up the kind of acting to look after her two kids. Was it Rashida and Khadija? Is it Khadija? So she ended up co-writing some of the songs with Quincy Jones. But yeah, that's her.
There's a couple of songs that the townsfolk sing.
Yes.
When they have a little kind of get together, so kind of sounds a bit naff.
But yeah. So the managed to open the gates because there's a letter for this character, Ellen March, his sister. So I think...
How old are these letters? I mean, how long have they been sitting there for, you think?
Well, they say, no, it was 3 years. So it says 3 years were the was it a virus? So if it's 2013, so we're talking...
Something mumps or something.
Something like that. So it was... So let's say if that's 2013, so let's say 2010, so let's say 2009. So this is 2009, and this is now 2013, and all of a sudden the world's gone to pot, and
the bad mumps or something,
the bad mumps,
something like that, some mumpy thing.
Well, that's the thing. So they open the gates, let him in, and then the postman, Kevin Costner, he's gone from being called Shakespeare to the postman, and people are saying, well, you know, what news do you have? And he said, oh, you know, there's a government, you know, the new government's been set up, you know, and here are some of the letters, and he's giving the people hope, and he's welcomed in.
Okay, that's one way to look at it. He's giving the people hope. But what he was doing at the start was he's basically just going around grifting off his bad performance as Shakespeare and then getting bed and breakfast or food and stuff. And he's basically doing the same here, but with in letters. The guise of a postman.
Yes. So he's doing that. So yeah.
But he's creating a big hole for himself. When he lies, then it creates like a bigger lie, and then he has to cover it up, and then it's almost like Basil Fawlty kind of style, is it? So I know.
Well, that's the thing, because he goes into the town, and then he comes across the character. Is it Abby by Olivia Williams?
Yeah. Now this is like, obviously a man wrote this because all the men in town have got the bad mumps or something, so they can't have sex with the women or something, or have children.
Yeah, they can't have children with them.
So, but Kevin Costner just happens to be immune, so everybody wants to fuck him, basically.
Well, the Olivia Williams, her husband,
could you please bang my wife?
so Olivia Williams, which, once again, I think that was that her first major movie? That was 1997. I think
she was in something else about the same time as well, was she?
Well, it turns out, I mean, she's been appeared in a lot of obviously she was in The Sixth Sense. She was a lot of British movies, like and always. I suppose that when she kind of first came to prominence, a lot of the other actresses, say like a Minnie Driver or a Rachel Weisz, and no doubt they were probably going for the same part, maybe even Emily Watson, they were probably all in the same mix, you know, and it's like, it's just where the luck lands to, you know, what role you get, you know, and how successful that film is, because she was in a good film with Polanski. It was called The Ghost, or The Ghost Writer, and it was based on that. Was it Robert Harris's book about...
he did like Pompeii and stuff like that.
Yes, yeah, and this one was about, say, like a Tony Blair kind of character, and he was a ghostwriter to do their...
yeah, I think I read that, actually.
Yeah.
That rings a bell.
Also, she was in, I think, probably the best Wes Anderson film is Rushmore, which is a good one. And that's got one of the great cinematic Scottish characters in it. If you've not seen that, that's a good one.
Not Fat Bastard from Austin Powers?
No, it's not. It's not him. It's not him. But yeah, so Olivia Williams wants to have a child, and Kevin Costner. In actual fact, I suppose it's a bit like that kind of Gulliver's Travels thing. He kind of obliges, you know, because the husband, you know, so he obliges, and then he's about to sneak out, and then the mayor says, "I know you." No, I don't mean I know you, but I know what you're up to. This is not. You know, the government hasn't reformed, you know, but
he's not 100%. He kind of calls him out, but then he kind of calls him back. If you are telling the truth, then did you not give him a letter or something?
Yes. So that's what happened. They kind of set up a kind of postal service, and everybody gives them kind of letters to take out, and the mayor comes back and says, you know, you're talking all rubbish, but then, oh well, you might be, and gives them a letter, and he plants the seed in the characters. What's the character?
Young kids. Lorenz Tate.
Yes,
Ford Lincoln Mercury.
For Lincoln Mercury, and he kind of sets up. He wants to be the next kind of postman, or the next kind of courier. So he leaves.
He's got like the Goonies squad.
He's got the Goonies squad, and then, but unfortunately, our friend General Bethlehem approaches Pineview and says he wants his tribute, you know, And he finds out this fabled character, the postman's been around, spreading hope, and the government's going to be reforming, was already reformed, and he takes it upon himself to get Olivia Williams' husband to burn down the post office, which he does. And for Lincoln Mercury, he kind of tries to save some of the stuff, but he gets caught in the smoke.
Yeah, it's that's kind of like the movie that kind of goes to and fro.
Yes.
Cheese to downright shocking atrocities and genocide, is it?
Yeah, and that's more or less what it's almost like a kind of cat and mouse between Kevin Costner's Postman, because I think it's at that time he steals.
Both of them are just frauds, basically. Both of them are just characters playing bigger people than what they really are, basically. They're just a couple of con men, basically. Yeah. Obviously, Kevin Costner's character has got a moral compass, but Bethlehem is just a complete sick bastard.
No, his moral compass is gone, and he ends up through that raid in Plainsville, because I think he says if you don't open the gates, he's going to get the guns. Or is that the one, or does it come later? He's got
yeah.
And then that's where he steals. He kidnaps Olivia Williams from that, and as I say, Kevin Costner's travelling around. See, as I say, yeah, it's a bit cat and mouse, because that kind of area all kind of merges into one. Because he's caught and then he's let go, and then he comes across, Bethlehem comes across the postman and has never met him before.
I find this hard to believe that he doesn't recognise Kevin Costner just because he's got like a postman outfit.
Yes, yeah, well, he's clean shaven, and so I think he gets injured, and he rescues Olivia William. Oh no, because there's in the meantime there's more of a he rescues Olivia Williams by chance, from some sort of raid, and he gets injured, and then him and Olivia end up becoming almost like Dance with Wolves. She takes him
into the mountains or something.
Goes off into the mountains on one of these kind of horseback kind of trailers. He's dragged into the cottage to gain his strength, and that's when he finds out that she's pregnant, carrying his child. And then in the meantime, while they're away, spread of the word of the postman spreads, and there's more and more kind of almost like the Pony Express. The legend. So that it's almost a bit like the Pony Express, that the legend of the postman, and people start sending letters, and people start getting communication around, but basically just around that.
His lie set the ball rolling, basically, because he did jack shit. He just lied about it, but all these other people are risking their lives
they're
risking
their lives.
Setting up a chain.
Setting up a chain, but basically he's setting up a postal service, which then their people are becoming more and more connected. And then, unfortunately, along the way, people are losing their life. They're getting caught by the Holnists. Kids. Yeah.
I mean, there was like some old guy. Who was that? There was like some old hippie guy.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Hippie guy?
Yeah. No, I think Kevin, the postman, was asking the old hippie guy to train people up for combat.
With guns and stuff.
With guns and the guns and that. And as I say, and I think, because Kevin Costner, once again, Kevin Costner, he comes across another town, and I don't know, is that when is that the Bridge City, or is that later? They come across Tom Petty, and now is Tom Petty playing himself?
Like a dam or something.
It's a dam where yeah. So he goes there
like a was it a zip line?
A zip line. So no, I think that's near the end. So I think when he's convalescing in the woods, the postal service grows, and the word of the postman gets greater.
He just hibernates for the winter up in the mountains.
He hibernates, and then he comes into town, and people are saying, "Oh, I've got a letter from the postman." He says, keep the faith, and the government's coming back. And then he, once again, being this, the non-egotistical person, he announces, "Oh, by the way, I'm the postman here." And he says, "Oh, the postman," and he gets the adulation. But then he realizes the
resurrection of Jesus.
Yes. Yeah. And then he realises people are getting injured, people are getting killed, and then he says, I disband the postal service. But it's not your decision. It's like,
No, it's not your decision anymore. So, but going back to the Tom Petty character,
Yes.
when Tom Petty sees him, he says, like, hey, I know you. You're famous. And then he's like, but you used to be famous too as well.
But see, that's when I'm thinking that I'm thinking that maybe that Richard Starkey, President Richard Starkey, isn't the thing, because if you've got Tom Petty playing himself, and that's something that jumps out, you know, particularly when you read science fiction books, that often you'll have a real character in it, and that makes it more real that this is a dystopian future where, you know, somebody famous is actually, you know, is the not mayor of something, of running some sort of, a bit like the Running Man with Mick Fleetwood. Mick Fleetwood playing himself.
That's like Mick Fleetwood's in The Running Man.
Playing himself, and he says, yeah, they burnt my records and tortured my friends. And then, I know it just seems to, because he's almost playing a kind of, Mick Fleetwood playing
not the first and it won't be the last, like Mick Jagger in the Amazing Free Jack.
Free Jack, yeah. Although
sarcasm there.
But then Mick Fleetwood's playing himself. But there must be something about this. If you get musicians or famous people to play them in the future, you know, I suppose another one. I suppose it's Bill Murray in Zombieland, who's playing himself. You know, but it's not too often. But it's usually in you know, science fiction. Yeah. No, I say Mick Fleetwood's is pretty good at the Running Man, because he comes out of nowhere. It's like there's no need for him to say, I'm going to go see Mick.
I'm sure there's other musicians that have been in movies. Obviously Madonna. Oh well, quite a few movies.
Yes, well I know. David Bowie, but some of them are cameos.
Kind of playing themselves.
They're playing themselves, but not in a but not as a cameo. But this is a fully fledged.
I was just thinking with the Will Patton Costner link. They did a film together in the 80s called No Way Out.
Yes. Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah, that was a good film. Yeah, because he was in a purple patch.
He was psycho in that as well, was he?
Yeah, because he's good at he's got that kind of stare, and as you say, it is like something from. And actual fact, the Army of the Holnists. There's one guy, and he actually looks like I don't know if he was like trying to train for. One guy looks like Wolverine, you know, because he's got these big mutton chops, and he's got this hair that looks like that. But also the Holnists, their outfits look a bit like American Civil War kind of outfits. They've got those kind of peaked kind of caps and stuff like that, you know?
Yeah. The cap, it's kind of orangey.
It's a yellowy, orangey duster kind of.
But the caps are kind of grey.
Yeah. And he's got a second.
To the Confederacy, maybe.
Maybe. And you've got what's the name of the other general who did he have his tongue cut out or something?
There's a guy who's like his second in command that doesn't speak.
Yeah, it looks like the third Stallone brother or something like that. There's something about.
See, he doesn't speak because he challenged.
And that's it.
Bethlehem.
Yeah, because anybody can challenge him.
In the Rule 8, the leader could be challenged by anybody in a fight, and if they win, they become the leader.
Yes, which is foreshadowing.
The Rule of 8, and he got his. Basically, Bethlehem kind of cuts out his tongue. Yeah. Could you believe a little guy like Will Patton could be the leader of a band of hardened, racist, bigoted bastards and beat everybody up?
Well, see, the thing is that's on paper you cast anybody, but it's down to the script and it's down to the editing and just the little scenes, just the tiny tweaks to say, oh yeah, wait a minute, this person is dangerous, but that's all down to the filmmaking. That's all down to it doesn't have to be the guy doesn't have to be like 10 feet tall to be intimidating. It's just down to little scenes, just little things. But
he had facial hair, did he?
Yeah, it had a bit of a wee beard, and I don't think the hat was more like a cap backwards. It was almost like not a fez, but it looked like something.
Aviator cap or something.
Something a bit like that.
Because I remember when Kevin Pollak,
yes,
actor, comedian, impressionist. He was like the partner of Schwarzenegger in End of Days.
Yes, yeah.
And he says when you're doing a movie with Schwarzenegger, you've got two options, because if you want to be noticed, either you hit the gym or you grow facial hair. So I went for the facial hair.
Yeah, no, that's a weird thing that it's all these films that come out, actors or actresses who all appear at the same time. It's like nowadays, say like was it Felicity? Is it Felicity Jones and Claire Foy are almost like interchangeable, and there's sometimes like Dante's Peak and Volcano come out, and then you've got End of Days and what was the film with Arquette and Gabriel Byrne? Stigmata. You know, it's like it's a way, or Ants and The Bug's Life, and all these little things.
Two or three that come out at the same time. One hears about the other, and the other one movie gets made quicker than the other.
Yes,
so like in not Avatar. Sorry, The Abyss.
Yes,
and then there was
Leviathan, Deep Star 6,
and I think there was another one, Lords something of the Deep or something. It was a really bad low budget movie.
But in actual fact, if you look at the Deep Star 6, that's
Sean Cunningham.
Up. Yeah, that's the cinematography, and if you could, I like the thing with the Leviathan had a great poster because it was like a rip-off of Jaws, but it's let down by the special effects and the creature. The creature was supposed to be like like a blob to absorb people, and it's like it didn't quite.
It wasn't exactly Rob Bottin in The Thing, was it?
Although I think it was the same special effects people that did The Fly, you know?
Yeah, Chris Wallace.
Yes, yeah.
I went to see Leviathan at the cinema, but like I said, I went to see The Abyss at the Victoria.
Yeah.
But the Leviathan just seems like a B movie with a lot of money put behind it, kind of thing. It's like a glossy B movie, is it? A lot of cheese.
But the thing the set looks much better. The Deep Star 6, whether it's the cinematography, just looks better. You know, because it's got is it Miguel Ferreira
from RoboCop?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, he's good and he gets a horrible death.
He always plays a slightly character.
Because he wants there's emergency. Pods to get you from the bottom of the ocean to the bottom of the seabed to the top, and he says
decompress.
And his veins. Oh dear. Oh my goodness. And also, talking about Kevin Costner, you had Prince of Thieves, and then you had the Patrick Bergin.
I think it was just called Robin Hood, was it?
Robin Hood.
With that was directed by John Irvin or something?
Yeah, and it had Uma Thurman and
Jürgen Prochnow as the bad guy. And
then sometimes it's like you think, well, wait a minute, could we take the sheriff from this film and the Robin from this film, or this from this, and you a bit like remember they have the two Truman Capote's films come out. You know, Toby Jones, which I think was physically looked more like Truman Capote than Philip Seymour Hoffman. You know, but I remember reading somewhere that when the two Robin Hoods came out, somebody went to the Patrick Bergin one and purposely went to the Patrick Bergin Robin Hood, and over the tannoy says, yes, we'd just like to remind all our patrons that this Robin Hood is not the Kevin Costner Robin Hood. And the person took great offence to say, yeah, I know, I've chosen to come to see this Robin Hood, you know, and I'm being kind of patronised to tell you that I can't tell the difference between two posters, you know.
I think that Robin Hood was made by 20th Century Fox, and obviously Prince of Thieves was Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
But I just thought, I'll probably need to revisit that Robin Hood, because I only think I watched it once. I just at that time, at that age, I just thought Robin Hood Prince of Thieves kicked ass, and Robin Hood with Patrick Bergin was a pure imitation sort of thing. But I probably need to give it another glance.
Well, that's it, but I wasn't impressed by the cinematography. It just seemed the Prince of Thieves one just seems to be...
Oh, you don't like the colour palette?
Yeah, the colour palette, it's a bit too... And I mean, you could almost blame Sean Connery, blame Robin and Marion to bring it really grounded, and I don't think we've ever had, maybe apart from Robin Hood Men in Tights, we haven't had a Technicolor... Oh, there's Will Scarlet because he's wearing scarlet. We haven't had one of those like Errol Flynn kind of Robin Hood for a long, long, long time.
I think Costner kind of plays it like an all Errol Flynn kind of character.
I think it's the outfits. You know. Although I know technically, if you were wearing red and yellow in the forest, you could be seen. But this is a fantasy. I think maybe it's like, obviously we had Russell Crowe's Robin Hood, and it's like, I think maybe people are a bit tired of making it grey and brown. You know, can we not have a bit of, you know, flamboyance? Because in the medieval times and stuff like that, that's what people wore, bright colours all the time. They weren't all drab and brown, you know. The nobles
get a bit more saturation in the colour.
Yeah. So
we're doing the Postman, by the way.
we're doing the Postman.
I was going to say something, but I completely lost my train of thought.
Well, there's the eventual the General Bethlehem ends up. Does he get for Lincoln Mercury? You know, because he finds him and takes him, and he's going to use him as either bait or he's used him to bring out Shakespeare, Postman, and there's a final meeting. But by that time, word spreads to everybody around to like, we need your help. You know,
so everybody gets together, and there's a big like standoff.
A big standoff that just looks like a cavalry kind of charge.
Yeah.
But then Kevin Costner, because he says. He finally reveals that he's
he's kind of doing the whole William Wallace Braveheart.
He's doing a Braveheart,
riding up and down the line of his army.
He's doing that, and then a bit like the Count of Monte Cristo, Bethlehem doesn't know, and he says, "I'm going to challenge you," and he says, "Well, you can't challenge me. You can only challenge me if you've got the brand." And you have to be a member of the 8 or something. You have to be part of the clan. And then he pulls his sleeve down. He his breakaway sleeve, and he's got the brand of the 8. So that means he can.
Is that when Bethlehem recognises him?
Well,
he says, "Wait a minute, you're Shakespeare."
Yeah. I think there's that, and because he still doesn't recognise him, and then he tears him, and then they have a weird. They run at the horses gallop at each other, and then they jump in like a clinch, and then fall to the ground to have this major fight.
It's not exactly Way the Dragon, is it?
No. So they're having a fight.
It's just basically just a schoolyard fight, basically. Is it?
He's having a fight, and then he's Bethlehem gets the slight better of him, and he says, "You've got nothing to live for." You know, I haven't changed from being somebody who just wanted to go from town to town. And not interested, he just wanted to shun people and just do his own thing. He then says, "No, I've got something to live for because of a child and a partner, wife." And then he gets the better of Bethlehem, but he doesn't want to finish him off because he doesn't want to lead the people, because he wants this, you know. But then was it Lincoln Mercury says, "Well, no, the rule is you have to. There's no weakness. You have to kill them." And he says, "Well, no, he's been bested, but General Bethlehem, Will Patton, won't accept the defeat. He won't accept that he hasn't got the power."
Where his second in command comes out and says something in dispute. Yeah,
I don't know. Oh, does the second command, does he not shoot
he
him?
Does something at the end.
No, he lays down his gun, doesn't he?
Okay.
Because he says, "Look, we're going to lay down our arms." You know, and then Will Patton, I think he gets killed. I can't remember who kills him exactly. I don't think it's the Kevin Costner character, you know, because he won't accept, you know, defeat. And then so everybody's kind of been brought back together, you know, and then it skips forward.
Oh, that scene where they have a memorial.
Yes, they have a memorial. So.
To the postman.
So when Kevin Costner, Postman, leaves Pineview, he goes around delivering some of those letters, and there's an image of him, you know, picking up letters and handling letters. And we then fast forward. This is 2015, 2016, and then we fast forward to 2043, and we hear the woman who's doing the narration is actually the child of the postman and this Abby character, and they're all standing, and it looks like civilization's come back because there's boats in a kind of bay, and everybody's dressed in kind of modern dress, and they're unveiling a statue.
It's a scene from early on in the movie.
Yes, which is in the poster, not the poster, the trailer, and one of the people who
How
are
would
there.
how would they know that scene?
Well, it's there's the boy who's now a man. He's thinking back to the scene where the postman rode at full speed to pull
to grab the
letter. And then it's a poster of bronze of that kind of scene of the mailman, the postman, taking a letter from a small boy.
Because the whole big melodic score, stirring moment, emotional moment where he grabs the letter from the small kid.
Small kid. Is it James? Was it James Newton? Newton Howard?
James Newton Howard. I actually like this score.
See,
I really like this score.
You see, that's another podcast in itself. Brilliant scores from not good films, or
Great
or
scores
less
from
successful.
shitty movies.
Well, that's the thing. Well,
And then bad scores from great movies.
Yes, bad scores from great movies where they've just there's some like I love the score for Howard the Duck, that kind of romantic theme with John Barry.
Was that John Barry did that?
John Barry did that.
I thought it'd be John Williams.
No,
Barry.
it was John Barry did that. There's an adventure theme when they're in the kind of
I
sky.
didn't think John Barry could do that.
And then there's a kind of romantic motif that's played throughout the film, and that's John Barry. And there's a lot of scores you think, no, that's not, a great film, but the music doesn't. You need some oomph. Usually it's an electronic one,
Yeah, I prefer an orchestral score.
Yes.
Ridley Scott kind of does that. Obviously Vangelis with Blade Runner, but
yes.
But similarly, Jerry Goldsmith did a score for Blade Runner that basically Ridley Scott didn't use, and then obviously got Vangelis to do it because he thought it would be more futuristic.
Well, Ridley Scott has got previous for that, because you've got the one for Legend.
He did the same again with Legend. So
Tangerine
he keeps on
Dream.
screwing Jerry Goldsmith.
And then
Jerry Goldsmith was weird. Fuck you. I'm not doing the score for you. Fuck you.
And same thing in Alien, because he does that, and then
Jerry Goldsmith did the final score in Alien.
He did the final score, but there's a part called is it The Romantic, which is a piece of classical music.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
And if you listen to that, that's the bit where at the end when the aliens flushed out, when the afterburners hit and it's blown, and he gets thrown out, and then Ripley is saying this is the last surviving. That kind of romantic kind of music, that's from this classical piece from he's an American classical composer, a bit like Arlen Copeland. It's not like it's from like the 1700s. It's
kind of relatively new. Like, like kind of Barber, Adagio in Platoon.
That kind of and that's he seems to. But then what happens with some that's what happens with some filmmakers is they'll put in just a temporary tract that is another piece of music from something else, and then the score ends up just, well, can you just make it like that because I've already got that piece of music in it. I suppose it's like you hear the same piece of music used in trailers. They say, well, wait a minute, that's
these when the trailer for Forrest Gump came out, it had a score. And I went, oh, that's a great score. And I watched Forrest Gump, and that score was not in the movie at all.
Yeah.
Because that score was in, believe it or not, Dragon, the Bruce Lee story.
Yes.
It was Randy Edelman. Was it Randy Edelman?
Yes, yeah.
And that's a fucking great score. That Bruce Lee, parts of that Bruce Lee score is absolutely, I mean, we're talking about a score that's at a higher status than the movie. That could be a good example.
Well, there's the thing from was it Requiem from a Dream, and there's the Kronos Quartet, and that piece and that piece of music was used in was it X Factor, or that you know it right away when you hear it, and that section has been used all in like Pop Idol or X Factor, that thing where it's like it builds a bit of suspense,
Yeah, so it's a great score from James Newton Howard, but that's one of the plus points for the movie. I mean, plus points for the movie. Looks great.
Yes, yeah.
Good score. It's well acted in places, I would say.
Yes, yeah, well acted in places, and there's bits of humour, and it's just it's too long. Is it? How was it? 2 hours? No.
It's over 3 hours.
It was over 3 hours. That was it. That's probably the reason why it got.
I think it's 182 minutes.
Yeah. So I mean, if you're going to that film on Christmas Day, 1997, you think, right, it looks like apocalyptic, and then you're going on and you think, oh, wait a minute, it's almost as if you're going back in time. So it starts off in the desert, Mad Max, great, and then it becomes, you may as well be in the 1870s or something like that. If
they made something like that nowadays, they'll probably break up into part 1 and part 2, like we did with Harry Potter and all these kind of movies.
Yeah, no, I think once again, it is
just so you get more money.
Well, either that or it would just be an HBO. It would be a Netflix series. They would
it's
make
ridiculous. It's like Harry Potter Part 1, Section C or something. It's like they're kind of breaking up the book so they can have more movies, so they can make more money. Crazy.
Well, yeah. But
it could be like a 2-part TV serial. I mean, like Salem's Lot's like 3 hours, so like two hour with commercials. So about an hour and a half. So you can get away with that.
But the thing is that the book is nothing. The book is nothing like the. The book's nothing like the film. Have you read the book? I've only glanced through bits and pieces, but it's like one of these ones where I'm sure books based on. Films based on books, and particularly if it's science fiction, there'll be a whole section that no, you can't have the person then marries or lives in a world of spiders and has kids with a spider and stuff like that. It's like no, I can see why they've taken it, either because it's too expensive or it's too radical, And in this one, I think there's a group of scientists. The Postman kind of character comes across, but that's probably why Eric Roth was attracted to the story, because that central idea of somebody finding letters and going around and doing that, bringing hope, bringing a bit of order,
bringing hopes to get some food.
But bringing hope to get some food. That's probably what you would if you did another adaptation.
Selling hope.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. There's lots of great films out there that are terrible adaptations. And like say The Shining is a great film, but it's not a very good adaptation.
Yeah. Like King. I mean, King's kind of softened on it now.
Yes,
but at the time he didn't like it.
No, because obviously it was like his.
But Stanley Kubrick's not going to do like hedge monsters and stuff like in the book.
No, but I think perhaps from the book was the Jack character wasn't quite as unhinged, and he didn't become fully unhinged till he goes to the hotel.
Yeah.
But if the Jack character in the film already has a drink problem, it's like, well,
yeah, and he's abusive as well.
He's abusive and he's got a drink problem. It's like, well,
he's already starts off as completely unhinged and just gets 10 times worse.
So basically, you're just there for the Kubrick ride. You know?
Yeah, he does. I don't think he really kind of bothers about. I mean, I think Spielberg asked him, "Why did you pick Jack Nicholson?" Because he there's no curve. He's just completely psycho from the beginning and just gets worse. Why did you pick him? There's no arc of character. And he asked Spielberg, who's your favourite actor? And he gave off some names and stuff. Well, my favourite actor is James Cagney, because he plays it at 110% all the time kind of thing.
Yes.
And that's the sort of character. I think he likes more exaggerated characters, more overacting kind of things as well. But
that material doesn't suit.
No.
That kind of, so it's like, James Cagney
is going to make his own movie. He doesn't give a shit about fucking Stephen King, does he?
No, he's going to make the movie that he wants to make, and irrespective of how long it's going to take. And I think we've talked before that he was Arnold Schwarzenegger in Full Metal Jacket for
That
was it
wouldn't have
Texas
worked.
or something like that.
I think
Tex,
Schwarzenegger would have punched him.
But then Arnold Schwarzenegger's spoken about that. He said, you wanted me for that, and I don't know what film he made instead.
What character?
Tex.
Oh, Tex. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and you think, all those brushes with what might have been,
Oh, gee, I just can't see it, to be honest.
Yeah, well, that's obviously he must have saw something or some way.
But that's the thing with Kubrick, going way off on a tangent.
We're talking about the Postman.
We're talking about Postman, but we're taking a sidebar here. In Full Metal Jacket, Joker's right-hand man, Rafterman, he played one of the rapist bastards in Death Wish 2. Now, Death Wish 2 is quite a controversial movie.
Yes, yeah.
Because there's a extra prolonged rape kind of scene in that, which just goes on way too long. But Kubrick, educated, chess-loving Kubrick, would watch anything. He would watch any type of movie. He would watch the shittest of movies. And he had it in his mind that he wanted that character to play Rafterman. And he got it.
Well, that's
it.
it.
You just don't know what to think.
That's it. You never know. It's like, as long as you're doing, your best performance, it doesn't matter. Well, that's the thing. There's no such thing as small parts, only small actors. And you do not know. Now, there's the people who have been in soap operas for, 50, 60 years, nothing. And other times you could be in, a couple of scenes and somebody picks you. But that's, them's the breaks. You just don't know. But as long as you're doing that because you're giving your best performance, and that's all you can do. You're not doing it thinking, oh, wait a minute, perhaps Chris Nolan might be seeing this, or Paul Thomas Anderson or whatever. You're just doing it because you're giving the best performance, and if something comes from it, great. If it doesn't, you've given your best performance.
Yeah. Okay. So we've got any last thoughts on the Postman? No.
No. Just that it's.
What about the subject matter in today's climate?
In today's climate, it's one of those ones where you make a film and you don't know. You know how sometimes they'll make a film and it comes out and there's been some sort of horrible disaster, either natural disaster or something happening domestically, and there's a resonance, but that passes. But the climate we're living in now, it's one of it has got more poignant and more relevant, but will more are people more than going to sit through a 3-hour movie? That's
not with attention span for the YouTube audience. No,
I mean the only thing
I'm just talking about the rise of the Christian nationalists in America at the moment. That's almost going to make America into a version of The Handmaid's Tale, the way it's going at the moment.
Well, that kind of the Holnists, that
but
book.
that's the kind of thing, and you've got the cult of personality.
Yes.
Even in reference to the Postman himself. I mean, he's a bit of a fraud.
Yes. Oh no, he's a fraud,
and he becomes a cult of personality. Everybody kind of deifies him or think he's a hero.
Well,
but he only does something heroic at the ends, basically.
Yeah, that because he's kind of running away. Well, once again,
he runs away. He goes in, does his bit, gets fed, bangs someone's wife, and then fucks off. That's the kind of plan. So I know.
But that's the thing that now we know that if it was going to be a Tom Hanks thing, it would be more comedy or more of a cynical view.
Would it be great if it was like Tom Hanks kind of bachelor party area?
I don't think so. But
it hasn't been a decent movie since Bachelor Party.
but no,
remember that there's a nice moon out tonight. That's quality.
No, it's just all that time, that money, and it's like at the time it was criticised that Kevin Costner were going to direct it and he was going to star in it as well.
Yeah, a legend in his own mind.
Well,
but it was. I remember the news about the film because when it was coming up, Costner's making a $180 million movie or something about a postman. So what the fuck?
But the interesting thing...
Basically, it was getting panned even before the film came out.
Well, there's two ways to look at it. Sometimes when you read it in the press or the trades like Variety or whatever it is, and it'll say, well, when you read the synopsis, he's about a guy who's going around... Well, if you read about the synopsis, he's a postman who's travelling around a post-apocalyptic world delivering letters. Great, just have that. Just have that. He's got a big bag and he's just going around. That's it. And oh my goodness, almost like, not quite like The Swimmer with Burt Lancaster, but he's going to all these different places, meeting all these different people there. But sometimes people haven't got maybe the vision to make it as interesting, as creative as that. They need to add other things onto it. And then this initial germ of an idea becomes kind of bloated, not as interesting, that as first described, because that if anybody was going to make it again, just have that idea that somebody's just going around and meeting different people, and then you could have monsters, you could have anything there, you could have a mixture, like as they call it.
When did it come out again?
December 1997.
Okay, so that was Titanic time.
Titanic came out in, was it the summer, and this came out debuted on Christmas, so Christmas Day 97, so 97 into 98.
Was that in America? Because I think I've seen Titanic here.
Yeah.
Quite late on in 97, so I know.
Yes, it was, Titanic was here, was it June? No, could it have been August, September maybe, or something like that in 97? And funnily enough, that one, obviously, that got. I mean, the stories, the negative stories about Titanic while it was in production. Yes,
people were obviously cracking the jokes as it's already sunk before it's even been released and everything.
That's it, and that's the thing. But also the strange thing that the set itself, it wasn't to size. It was, you feel like saying, well, if you
got about 75% or something.
Yeah, and you feel like saying, well, wait a minute, if you're going to make it,
just give me an extra 100 million just so I can just add an extra 20% on it.
But interestingly, obviously, if you think about it, Bernard Hill, he
played a good part. Cameron thought he was underplaying the role or something.
He was underplaying the role, and also there was a lot of locally, and because the officer, the Scots actor who was actually Andy Stewart's son, who's he's
Murdoch, is that?
Yeah, he's the guy that he stops men and women. That his relatives were not so happy about his portrayal. But the interesting thing about Bernard Hill is he has, and I don't think this is probably ever going to get beaten, is he's been in 2 Oscar-winning films that won 22 Oscars, because he's been in Return of the King.
Right.
And he was in Titanic. Both 11 Oscars. Ben-Hur is the third one.
Did Ghost in the Darkness not win any Oscars?
No, The Ghost in the Darkness.
He was good in that as well.
He was good in that. Yeah.
Like Bernard Hill. I just remember him growing up, Boys from the Black stuff.
Yes, yeah, and he was also in a musical.
Surrender.
Was it No Way Out? No, The Thingy in Blue. What was it called? It
was the one about the
Bellman and True, or Bellman and...
Yeah, something like that, yeah. We did one called, I think it was released by Palace Video, No Surrender or something. It was about 2 people from Northern Ireland or something. There was a lot of kind of jokes of kind of the Orange Lodge and stuff in it and stuff like that.
Oh, and of course he was in...
it was a bit of a kind of black comedy. Yeah,
because in his early days he was in that comedy, the musical. It was called John Paul, George, Ringo and Bert. And it was like...
Bert?
He was... was he John Lennon or was he Bert? I can't remember. But they were doing...
I could probably see him as John Lennon. I think.
But also he was in Restless Natives, Scottish film. He was playing the father, wasn't he?
I'm a big country fan. That was my favourite band when I was growing up, and it still is my favourite band now. I still listen to them. I love Big Country, and they did a fucking amazing soundtrack
to the
that movie
Restless
coming
Day,
out.
which is now turned into a musical. But the stories, I was at the college with a few people from Edinburgh, and there's a scene in Restless Day. It was when they're driving around Edinburgh throwing out that money.
Aye.
And thank
And
goodness.
then you got like what you got like the Hibs and Hearts supporters and the Celtic Rangers people all coming together and stuff like a scene out of Independence Day where everybody's all kind of joined together in holy matrimony to defeat the aliens.
Well, thankfully the kids around Edinburgh, thankfully they put Boy George's face on those banknotes because people were going into the shops. And I don't know how many people maybe they managed to get away with spending sweets, but they were trying to use the Boy George fake
Sounds like
money.
a Joker thing.
Yeah.
You know that Trump's going to be releasing dollar bills with his stupid scribble on it?
No.
The first time president's ever done that with American currency. He's going to take a dollar bill and vandalise it with his scrawl over. What's that kind of machine that the
auto writer? No,
his signature.
His signature.
That bloody, what's the thing that people you see in medical where it's like the thing's connected and it's got like a little pen that goes up and it kind of does a line and it goes up and down.
Oh, right.
What is that? Well, that's kind of what his signature looks like, is it?
Right.
Well, he's going to put that on the dollar bill.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Just everything's about his ego.
Right. And final thoughts on the Postman. Yeah. It's just I think it's just and it doesn't take. I was going to say it's not as post-apocalyptic as you think because it's the start is you see the desert and you see a wee kid jumping on a trampoline, but I don't see any houses nearby. So it's desert. Obviously, America, it's desert in the central bit, or maybe on the east coast, and everybody's going to the west coast to get away. But it's good enough, but not. No, it's good, but it's not good enough. It's just and who knows? It might get better with age. I don't know.
You get a lot of movies that have become classics, like John Carpenter's The Thing, which got pretty much panned and played second fiddle to Friendly E.T. at the time and didn't make the money.
Yeah.
And basically, obviously, Carpenter got a bit dejected after that.
Yeah, and also...
But look at it now. Nobody talks about E.T. now. Everybody, all these millennials or kids and stuff on YouTube are doing reaction videos to The Thing. They're not watching E.T. anymore.
Well, it's that is a very good point with films that come out. Channel 4 years ago did was it the top 60 films in Britain based on box office tickets, and there was a lot of films. Raiders didn't make it. No. Terminator didn't make it, and there was lots of films that near the top that have long been forgotten.
Yeah.
That there was a film. The actress was Anna Neagle. Anna Neagle was married to another British actor, and the films that they made together, they were like into the top 10s and stuff like that. And there's some films which over the course of time, I mean, E.T. will always be there, but because we're living through it, and because Spielberg is still alive, in another 20 years, will it still be remembered as much because the actors are not around, or the filmmakers remember it when they went to the cinema or watched it on video, and then they're kind of remaking it or keeping it alive once they go, whether it will be as fondly remembered. And I think that sometimes that's hard to take, that when you see the stuff that you remember as a kid drift further and further away, and people don't know. I mean, there's some younger people don't know who, I suppose, Elizabeth Taylor is, Marilyn Monroe, Frank Sinatra.
Well, they don't know who Richard Burton is, because I was watching a reaction video for The Exorcist 2 because I wanted to laugh, but they didn't know who Richard Burton was. That's crazy.
But that's just the nature of things. That it's what's the next thing, and it's only perhaps if it becomes big on TikTok or something that people then will research or look more into it. But that's what we're living. Things are drifting away, and you just have to kind of. except, you either drift away and get forgotten or drift away and then come back and people, there's a reassessment of it.
I just, when you look at John Carpenter's The Thing, Rob Bottin's amazing practical effects, still astound people today.
It's still,
but when we all went to see E.T., Carlo Rambaldi's E.T. looked like shit, even doing back in those days, sort of. So, let's spare a thought to poor Mac and Me. Let's bring that out of the closet. Mac
and Me, and then you've got other ones. What was the other one around the? Oh no, it wasn't. Daryl wasn't an alien, was it?
Oh no, that was some super android kid or something.
Yeah, and then there was Project X as well.
The monkeys.
Yeah, the monkeys.
With Matthew Broderick.
Yeah, Matthew Broderick.
Where the monkeys escaped, and then look at doing the finger out the plane window, like up yours.
Yeah. No, just thinking about if you watched about the making of the Thing, and that what they were doing was that.
Oh, brilliant documentary.
The thing about the Rob Bottin, they were putting, like you as a kid doing a mixie, they were putting lots and lots of chemicals in the neck, and they had no idea what the reaction was going to do once it started to come and started to bubble and the different colours. They thought, let's try this.
Making shit up as you went along just to see what, if it looks good, great. So, that's a good documentary, kind of right up there with the amazing documentary for the making of Jaws.
Yes,
it's when you see that documentary, it's amazing how Jaws become a classic that it is, because the amount of shit everybody went through making that movie.
Well, that's because you don't know, but you would like to think that if the cinematography is looking good, but perhaps years ago everything had a good cinematography, and the music, and talking about the Postman and what might have been. If you look at Jaws 2, there's another film in the Jaws 2 where it's almost like Moby Dick, where it's almost like a gothic tale where Chief Brody, is it a shark? Is it not a shark? This idea where he's starting to read into things all the time. That would have been interesting.
He gets fired because he gets paranoid or something.
I see that thing, and then there was the script that was the original idea was they had. What was it? Amityville was owed money to the mafia. So in Jaws 2, it's all closed down and it's all ramshackled and all this.
I read the novel, Peter Bensley's novel, after seeing the movie like 20 times, and I was reading it and it's like, this book's shit. this is nothing like the movie. I like the movie better.
Yes,
but the movie is obviously just. There's a whole backstory about the mafia, which is this crazy.
And there was the idea that in the second one, but also was it Carl Thingy that
Gottlieb? Carl Gottlieb?
I think he was instrumental in Jaws 2 by having it more like the teenagers, and rather than like American Graffiti where they had cars, in Jaws 2 they've all got these boats. So there's a great film with, as you say, the Chief Brody is thinking, am I losing it? Am I seeing sharks when there isn't sharks? And because the orca, something's taking a bite out of it, and I think that would have been an interesting one. But obviously at the time you just want popcorn film, right? What's popular? Teenagers, right? Let's have teenagers racing in their boats. Let's go with that end rather than say the longevity of the film, to say how's that going to play in 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years time. One last thing on the Postman, that sometimes you'll see people say not to be confused with El Postino.
Oh, the Italian movie.
Yes, because obviously that's...
Who's in that? Roberto Benigni, was it? Or somebody else? Was it?
It was somebody else. I think he got nominated for an Oscar for the
La Vita
the actor.
Bella, Life is Beautiful.
He got that, but I think the actor who was in El Postino was... But obviously that's...
El Postino, is that the one that was based on the writer... Is it Moray or something?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, something like that. It's like a postman visits like this famous intellectual liberal writer sort of thing.
Yeah, I think did it win?
June fascist Mussolini Italy.
Yeah, I think it did it win best foreign film, and then it won. I think the actor was nominated for best actor. But I was looking at to see whether the Postman had been nominated for any Oscars.
Not to get confused with El Postino.
El Postino.
Well, that's what would be called in Italy.
Yes,
then if they basically just did the straight translation.
Yeah. So I was looking at to see if there was any, because obviously some films you think, oh, they're terrible, but in actual fact they might have, like the Time Machine, the remake, that got
Guy Pearce.
The Guy Pearce, that got nominated for. I think there was only maybe 2 films in that category, and for best special effects, and that was one of them. But it didn't win. But anyway, I was just checking the films that got nominated, and 1997, all this sort of stuff. I was going down, and then I came across something, and it talked about best. I didn't even know it was best comedy score.
Comedy score.
Yes, and that's where, on the same year that Titanic wins for best score, The Full Monty wins for best comedy score. Now, I didn't think...
I didn't know there was a split.
I didn't notice that before. So it's these things that come and go.
Horror score?
I think it must be these things that come and go. Like, at one point there was the best colour cinematography, and there was best black and white, and that eventually went away to be best. And then there was no best makeup till about 1980, which seems crazy. I know that they sometimes gave special awards to like Planet of the Apes, but I think from 1980, from The Elephant Man onwards, they brought in a best makeup, which seems crazy. And now, obviously, recently they brought in the casting Oscar. Although,
Exorcist had great makeup. It could have brought in earlier. Yeah.
Well, once again, although I think people want, I think the next one that people want to vie for is there should be a best stunt. But then perhaps that might make filmmakers put in a stunt that
put stunt people in dangers
in danger that they don't necessarily add to the story. So because people say, well, what other category could you have? Say best casting, and then
you think James Bond would sweep that practically every time.
Well, yeah, but then you have that in, is it the Actors Award, best stunt ensemble? Which does away with that. Although the thing about talking about James Bond, to this day, why you would put a slide whistle in the car in The Man with the Golden Gun as it's going round, when it does the corkscrew, the one take corkscrew.
Oh, I know what you. Yeah, okay, that's very kind of cartoony.
But why over the years you wouldn't just say, you know what, just take that out. We don't need that one.
Yeah, and that was the 1-2 punch with that obnoxious American sheriff,
J.W. Pepper.
Yeah, and he was in Golden Gun, and he was in, what else was he in?
Live and Let Die. Clifton James.
Yeah, I mean, people are watching reaction videos for the younger generation, and they're like, wait a minute, that's that guy from the other movie. Why the fuck would they bring him back? He's annoying as fuck.
Yeah, but obviously it's one of those things that I think it works.
Well, they brought Jaws back twice as well at the time.
They brought Jaws back twice. And they brought the Reaction Man actually 3 times, but people forget that. Do you remember in The Spy Love Me, when the lotus comes out of the water, there's the guy who looks at the bottle of wine.
Oh, okay.
Goes, and then he's in Moonraker. He's in
Octopussy.
No. He's in Moonraker, and was it St Mark's Square?
Yeah.
Does the same thing, and he's got a bigger part. And then if there's a blink and you'll miss him, they bring him back in For Your Eyes Only. So when they're skiing off the roof and slide along the bar table and break all the glass, he's there again.
Yeah.
third time, which I think most people only remember him from Spy Love Me and Moonraker. They forget that he was there in the third one.
I didn't know missing out there.
Yeah, and
Reaction Man.
Exactly, we're talking about the Postman.
Yeah. Okay, so I think we've had a good chat about the Postman. Probably gave it too much time. Sorry.
No, it's one of these ones where it's like, it's
just one of these movies that, despite what the natural flow or trend was at the time, I watched and I went, I quite enjoyed this.
I think you know what it is, Gary. It's like when we used to watch when they would make a film version of a cartoon or a comic book, and you compare it with what was happening in the graphic novels, people would say, why can't you just make what the graphic novel is, that seriousness, that visual interesting? And slowly but surely they're going that way to say, well, yeah, we could, have it. If you compare the Super Mario, the Bob Hoskins Super Mario to the Super Mario films, the animated ones that you see, that's what it should have been. But they haven't, either the lack of money or the lack of invention to make it like that. They have to make it like you had Dennis Hopper as the Cuba, the thingy character, and a similar thing with the Postman. You could have had it almost like A Boy and His Dog, that Don Johnson film from the 70s. Just have it strange and apocalyptic, just delivering letters. But it was almost as if, no, we can't have that. We need to have something else to it. We need we need to add something to it rather than just have it, just like, Gulliver's Travels, just going around meeting different people, having adventures, some scary, some funny, some sad, some, You
could have like a Postman TV serial where he just travels from one town to the other, like the Incredible Hulk.
The Incredible Hulk, or Highway to Heaven.
Yeah, Highway to Heaven.
Or a bit of Quantum Leap.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Ian, for enlightening me with some tidbits that I obviously didn't know about.
No.
It's been a good chat, and I hope anybody who's listening enjoyed the chat as well. Okay. Well, time's up. We'll see you later. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Well.